Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ginger Hour, the show where I talk about things that I want to talk about. Um, if I make any noises today that are weird, it's probably because I'm in pain. I had a crash with my bike. With my bike? Yes, on my bike last night, and still feeling the effects of that. So, um, yeah. Uh, let's see. What was I gonna say? Yeah, last week I didn't make a thing because I was cranky, and I didn't want to make a thing when I was cranky. Um, and this one's a bit late because I was super busy all weekend. So this is the thing that I'm making now. um, but I want to talk a bit about some games that I played. Um, First of all, I want to talk about the Overwatch beta because I got into the weekend beta thing and I played a couple of matches. Turns out my PC can't really handle Overwatch, and so that's why I was a bit cranky because it's not really a gaming machine, and now I know that I can't really game on it, unfortunately. But yeah, Overwatch is good. It's a lot of fun. It's um, it's different from the stuff that I usually play, and I think that is pretty good. Um, to enjoy new kinds of games, that's neat. I like that. And I am excited about the game being released properly. It's gonna be a couple of more months, but I'm excited for it when it happens, and I hope that I'm gonna have a proper gaming PC by that time. That would be swell. Um, but yeah, if you play Blizzard games and you have a Battle.net account and if you sign up for the beta and you get it, I thoroughly recommend you give that a shot because it's a lot of fun. Chances are, if you get into a weekend beta, that you're gonna get a bit stomped on because a lot of people have the regular beta, so they have played a lot more than you will have. So bear that in mind. Um, it's still an enjoyable game, even if you don't win every match. Even if you lose a lot of the matches, it's still a very enjoyable game. I think that's good. The games I wanted to talk a bit more about today is Bastion and Transistor, because I picked these games up at a recent Steam sale because I'd heard about them and I heard that they were really good games, and I bought them for almost no money. It was super cheap, and I played them through, and they were a lot of fun. I mean, Super Giant Games pulled that off really well. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna think that how the hell I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to have some sort of a comparison thing because whereas they are similar in some cases, they're also very different. Um, so starting with the obvious, the actual aesthetic of the games, um, they're both very pretty. Um, but where Bastion has sort of almost a cartoony look to it, um, Transistor, while not having a like a hyper realistic thing, but it's I don't have the words. I don't think it's blah 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 blah. I don't know. It's not cartoony, but it's definitely drawn. You can tell that. And the environments in I think both the games, I know Bastion has it, are like look like they've been painted and stuff. And it's just really gorgeous, both of the games. Um, I mean, you can look up photos like of the games, like screenshots, and you're gonna get a pretty basic understanding of how the games look. They are they're very pretty, and they just never stop being that level of pretty. Not once. As for the storytelling, it's to me it's different than other games because the protagonist is completely silent in throughout the entirety of the games. Like not a word. In Bastion, the actual narrator is an old man that the sorry again that the protagonist meets, and he gives you the story. That was my phone. If you could hear that, sorry. Um, he he narrates what happens, and it's in a really nice way. I really like that. Um, but he's never actually in the levels. He's outside, like talking over, and his voice is fucking tremendous as a narrator. That guy is amazing at narrating. Holy crap. Whereas in Transistor, you have the Transistor, actually, as it's called, which is actually the voice, the narrator in the game. There are a couple of other voice actors, like other characters in the game, but the Transistor is the main voice that you're gonna hear throughout the game. And he's also really good. I mean, I think it's the same voice actor actually, but they sound completely different, and they have two completely different styles of narrating, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, as for the camera angle, it's not like one of the what is the word that I'm looking for? Regular. That's it. It's not really like regular adventure games because the camera. I mean, it's not. They aren't third-person games. They are sort of isometric or isometric-ish camera angles. The camera is sort of up above, slightly to the right, angled down, and locked in that position. Can't change the camera angle or anything. But it works for the game. It does. And now for the music. I'm a lot of times I'm terrible at actually listening to a game's music. I've tried to get better at that, but and I actually started listening to actual video game soundtracks after I finished Bayonetta, because that soundtrack was spectacular, and so is the sorry, that was a burp. So are these soundtracks. Bastion soundtrack is phenomenal. It is sort of it's sort of Western, steampunky, adventure sort of music, and it's really good. The if you check it out, and you should, it's on YouTube somewhere probably. The first track has some talking in it, and that's the narrator of the game as well. So that's really cool. And the only other voice in that game is a character called Zia, and her like song, her whatever, is later on in the soundtrack as well, and it's really good. And Transistor has a really good soundtrack as well. but I haven't listened to it as much as I have Bastion because I fell in love with Bastion's soundtrack immediately. I did. Um, it was just fantastic. I always liked Transistor. I listened to it and I liked it immediately, but I didn't quite fall in love with it as I did with Transistor. No, with Bastion. Come on, brain. Um, I'm sorry if this gets like maybe a bit shorter than previously. I don't have an actual structure of how I'm going to go through this. I just sort of ramble right now, and I think that's fine. I didn't want to do anything complicated. I'm tired, and I don't want to move too much because I'm in pain. It's yeah, whatever. Games. Um, let's see. I was going somewhere. Yeah, soundtracks are amazing. You should totally check those out. They are phenomenal. Um, the gameplay is different. Um, for starters, they're both adventure games. They are. You have a character and you fight a bit and you walk and you explore a bit and it's stuff like that. But to do it a lot differently. At least the combat, which is what I'm gonna talk about the most because I don't wanna tell you too much about the other stuff because that's really better experienced on your own, and you should experience it on your own. If you don't feel like paying full price for these games, then they're gonna go on sale soon, and I think I paid um, somewhere about 15 euros or so for both of the games, all in all. Maybe a bit more. That was no money at all. They're short games, but it was well worth that. But yeah, the gameplay, the combat, the entirety of the Bastion combat is real time. It's a lot of ducking out of the way and dodging and punching or firing, whatever, when you get the chance. And that's really cool. I like that. It was sort of, you have to be in the moment. And at some points, it was actually kind of difficult. And that's fine as well, if that's your thing. There are actually like shrines to the gods that you can activate to give you more what's called fragments, which is the currency to buy upgrades and stuff. But it also and gives you more XP as well. But it also makes all the enemies a lot more difficult to fight. That's a thing that you can do if you wanna push yourself. I played the game for the story this time, and I might go back, make it more difficult, see what happens. It's real time, and you just bounce around and do stuff. Transistor is a lot different because you can. All right, it's like in Bastion, you have two weapons and like a special ability called a secret weapon, I think, and you use those. You can alternate between those like in 0 seconds, so that's fine. In Transistor, you have 4 abilities. You can unlock a couple of passive slots, and you can slot other abilities into the like the activatable abilities to make them different, or you can make them stronger or give them additional effects and stuff like that. And that's the most interesting thing about the Transistor combat system, because so you have what I like to call the sniping activatable. Essentially, what it does is it fires off a round or whatever, a shot of something that passes through enemies and hits everyone in that line. If you can slot in one ability that makes enemies hit by that ability vulnerable, make them take more damage, or you could slot in another ability that makes that same ability deal more damage if you hit them from behind. And stuff like that is sort of finding out what kind of fighting you enjoy in that game and then doing that. You also gain story and lore if you slot the abilities in the different slots. There's the active slot, which is the activatable thing that you fight with. There's the upgrade slot, which you put an ability onto another ability essentially. And there's the passive slot, where it gives you a permanent buff that affects gameplay in some way, and that gives you sort of lore and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. But the way this differentiates, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The way that Transistor combat differentiates from Bastion combat is through its sort of pause system. If you've ever played a Dragon Age game, for example, you can hit a button, pause, go into sort of a tactical view, and then direct the battlefield. You can do that in Transistor, but you have a limited amount of time, and you move around, you queue up the attacks that you want to do, and then you execute them all at once, and then you can't do that for a couple of seconds. And that is very, very different from Bastion, of course. And I don't know, I really liked the Transistor combat. I thought it was interesting. I had to sort of get the hang of it a bit before I could actually do anything useful with it, but once you get the hang of it, it's completely fine. The Bastion combat I loved from the start. Maybe you can tell, but Bastion is my favorite of the two. I thought it was so good. I really like Transistor, but if I had to choose between the two games, I would choose Bastion. But yeah, I really like that. You had to dodge away or block or counter or whatever. And I liked how crazy things got if there were a bunch of enemies on screen at the same time. That was really cool. Is there anything else that I want to say about these games? Because I don't know. I'm approaching 20 minutes, and I don't really feel like making this one a long one. I don't think so. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I will talk to y'all again next time, whenever that be. That should be this weekend. I hope it will be. I have a lot less planned this weekend, but yeah, have a nice week, and I hope your previous week was nice, because I couldn't ask you to have a nice week last week. Oh right, yeah. If you feel like you had something that you want me to talk about, like what I think about it or something, feel free to leave a comment below, because that would be super neat. And I feel like if I got a comment, that would in general, if I got a comment, that would be amazing. But if there's anything anyone wants me to talk about that I can talk about, that would be fun as well. Do a little thingy thing for those people. But yeah, that got uncomfortable. Until next time, have a good week.